Hello, welcome to Cable Plus Property, always your number one online educative platform on all issues related to land and landed properties. And as you know, at Cable Plus Property, our aim is to ensure that all Nigerians and non-Nigerians have easy access to every information related to land acquisition, land procurement, building construction, registration, documentation, and obtaining planning permits. In this episode, I'll be speaking with the structural engineer par excellence, a past president of the Nigerian Institution of Structural Engineers. He's no other than Engineer Dr. Victor Olusegun Oyenuga. Come with me. Now, according to the law, it is an offense for a developer to embark on any destruction at all without the planning permits. Yes. So in what ways do you think the planning permits can contribute to building collapse?
Can contribute or can prevent.
Okay, prevent, so to say.
Yeah, because you can't say can contribute because when you say planning permit, it means that somebody has gone through the drawings and approved that drawing is workable. So you can only prevent from this thing. Well, you can only prevent if and only if the people there are also qualified to do the job. I remember an episode, somebody was working one of the government organs. He came for an NSC interview. He brought his own drawing and his own, and I was asking him questions. He couldn't answer. What was he doing? After 3 years, he would look for a job for 3 years. He couldn't get a job. Then later they give him an employment. And he was checking design for consultants. This is a story that not that I was told. I'm talking of when I was interviewing somebody for the registration of NSC. You know, he was checking design, checking our own design, checking overall design, checking big people's design, and that one got into his own head and started saying, I asked him questions, he couldn't answer a single one, and I told him, I said, look, if you go out, don't say somebody failed you. Tell them that the 4 questions they asked you from your report, from your drawing, you did not answer a single one. Well, eventually he failed. You know what? He started begging me that if he did not pass, he is not going to be promoted to the position of a principal engineer. This is somebody who has been checking design, structural design, and be stopping and be approving. The little one that he brought, just up and down, he could not even tell me, I said, how much is the cost of the project? He wrote it down that the cost of the project is 0.045 million. I said 0.045, that's 45,000. I said, is that how much you collected from the man or the cost of the project? He said, yes, that's how much he collected. So you cannot even differentiate between the cost of the project and his own fee. And this is somebody who has been approving structures. So that's why I'm saying that the person who is there must be qualified enough to approve structures. When I was secretary of the Institution of Structural Engineers, we make overtures to the government that, look, you don't have enough manpower. As of that, there's only one woman that has a degree. All the other people have HND in the whole of Lagos State. And they, if they want to hold me responsible, I tell them the year, I tell them the woman, and let them go and check their records. It's only one who is an engineer. He's still alive. All the others are HND holders. And they are the people approving structures. We told them that, look, you can't do this. Let's partner with you. That is the Institution of Structural Engineers with Lagos State. So that we will be helping you to approve your structures. We will partition it so that structure that belongs to so area will be given to so farm. Structure that belongs to so area will be given to so farm. And then, they say, okay, fine, no problem. But they will pay, the people will pay to them. They will not pay us. We say no. Because you let them pay us, then because we know that we will pay the people that do the work. For us to go and get money from government after doing your work, you will do this. And none of our members will ever be interested in doing that. So these are some of the things. So if they have enough capable hands, who are well trained, who are well experienced to handle the checking of the design and approval, that's no problem. there's no problem. But once where they don't have that, then the issue comes, and then approval is important, because without it you won't be able to proceed. So people are ready to give whatever they can give in order to to allow them to do their work. So if we're able to eradicate this, maybe better. Then some of them also participate in the design. That is wrong. If you have decided to be a worker in government, please stay where you are and go through training. One day you will leave. You can then come and join us. You can't be in government and also be doing drawings for approval. Some will even some will even go to the level that if they don't do that drawing, they will never get approval. They will never get approval. So people will now decide, well, after all, is the one. How can you do a design and approve it?
Be the ones to approve it at the same time.
And approve it yourself. Does that make any sense? It doesn't make any sense. So these are some of the things that the government should guard against. Once you have decided to work with government, so be it. Then go through training so that you can improve yourself. One day you will leave. At the age of 60, you will leave. You are still relatively young. You can then go into full-time practicing, and then you'll be practicing.
What effort is the Nigerian Institution of Structural Engineers putting in place to curb against building collapse and some that could be traced to maybe structural engineering designers, like you've named them? So what efforts is the institution putting in place to put checks in all of this?
Well, for now we are on advocacy, and I'm sure you have heard one or two jingles in the radio and this thing, especially the last regime of engineer Dr. Osifala. He set up these advocacy funds, and so many people have responded, including current and some other people that believe in us. And so the advocacy is going on. Just as what you are doing, teaching people or making people know the need to employ the services of qualified professionals, not necessarily only structural engineers. Not necessarily. It's only that the structural engineer are the backbone. They are the bones of the building. So if there's any collapse, it's traceable to them. But the builders too can be responsible. Yes, because the builder is supposed to put the drawings and everything together. If the structure is well designed and the builder is not experienced enough to be able to follow the design methodologically and then also come out with a very good result, then it can be a problem. So the builder can also be responsible. When I say builder, I'm not talking of this local contractor. I'm talking of a registered builder that is in charge.
Not bricklayers.
Not bricklayers. And unfortunately, most of our buildings don't even have builders involved. Most of the buildings that are collapsed, you go there, you find that by the time the analysis of a professional, you don't even have builders. How can you be having a 21-story building without a builder? I'm not talking a contractor, a registered builder that is a member of the council, who is registered by the council, by Carbon. Those are builders. They are the ones that will look at the structural drawing, the architectural drawing, the services drawing, which is electrical, mechanical, and then and put them together and make sure that everything, before they do the decking, for example, they make sure that the pipe for the electrical is there. Before they put when the wall is on, they make sure that the hole for the socket is there. Because that's why they are taught the various aspects. They are taught architecture, they are taught structural, they are taught services, and they are taught quantities. So because they need to apply all this knowledge into their profession. So there's no reason why buildings of this nature, this is just a 3-story building, should not involve a builder. Because if you put a builder inside, then you are sure that things will work out well. So these are some of the issues that that are important for us to make sure that buildings stand.
Okay, you mentioned advocacy. That's part of what.
Yes. Then the second one is training. The institution rolls out training program, and we thank God that most people in the ministry of Lagos State government they have been, coming up, for training, especially this current regime. They've been coming up, and then we also go out to also assist, like I have been to like material testing laboratory. I was invited by, I think, two past regime, not this one that has left, the one that left before this last one left. He invited me, and I was there for 3 solid hours, telling them that this integrity test, the way they are carrying it out is not right. This is the way it's supposed to be carried. There are over 100 in the hall, and they were happy. So these are probably the efforts that we are making to make sure that things work out well.
Do buildings have lifespan?
Yes, before the code talk of 50 years, but the current edition of the design code, this Euro code, this is one of my books, Simplified Involved Concrete Design. Consultants are opposed to Euro code 2. Euro code says the building should be able to last up to 120 years. That is concrete building.
Maximum?
No, it should be able to last up to 120 years. Can it last beyond that? I mean, you go to UK, you see some buildings that were built in the 18 something, lasting more than something. It's maintenance. That is major issue.
We'll go on a short commercial break and we'll be right back.
Cable Plus Property, the hub of professionals in the built environment and the #1 online educative platform on all issues related to land and landed property. At Cable Plus Property, our aim is to ensure that all Nigerians and non-Nigerians have at the tip of your fingers, free of charge, all information on landed matters. We provide you with all information you need to know about land procurement, land documentation and development, planning permit procurement, building construction, and so on. Join us today for free by subscribing to our YouTube channel, like and follow us on our social media platforms, and check us on our website www.cableplusproperty.com. Together, we shall make our environment better. Spend and build right.
Welcome back. This is still the Cable Plus Property Show, and I'm still talking to engineer Dr. Victor Olusegun Oyenuga.
Yes.
So how long should a building stand before it is considered to be distressed?
It's a function of so many things. This 120 here we are talking about, there are so many things that are involved. All right, the strength of the materials used, then the cover. What we mean by the cover is that you have in any concrete work, you have the iron rod. Then the iron rod, there's a concrete cover before the iron rod. For example, now you can't see the iron rod outside, but we start breaking this place down. The very time you see the iron rod. So that distance between that iron rod and the bottom is what we call the cover. So if those covers are actually followed, and then the correct mix of concrete is done based on the need of the work, then you are sure that those buildings will last as expected.
So in a case where the building materials are of the best quality and
Yes.
professionals were involved, if you
Yeah.
are to peg a number of years to a building, how long should it stay before we say, okay, this building
Well, if
has
according
lived
to
long
if
enough?
it's designed to Euro Code 2, okay, if it's designed to Euro Code 2, then we'll be talking of not less than 120 years.
120 years.
Yes, but just as I've said, the Euro Code specification must be thoroughly followed. But generally, any concrete building should not last anything less than 50 years. And if it is well maintained, then it can, more or less last as long as a life, lasts.
How can members of the public identify a distressed building? What are the signs on the building to tell that it's distressed?
Well, the first thing is cracks. That's the first thing. Because when a part of a building is painted, the only way that building can show it is is by like cracks. Cracks will develop. okay, or part of it will start bending. You know, will be bending in such a way that it will be obvious that when you say, this thing that is we are looking at, realize it's not straight again, no. And then you will see that the matter will continue. You know, for example, if it's a crack, if that crack, it will start like a thread. Then if that thing continues to widen, then you may see that there's a problem. But what we normally do as structural engineers is that when you have a crack and somebody calls us that, okay, I've noticed this crack, no problem. Because there can be, especially when the building is newly completed, there can be what we call sudden settlement. So that sudden settlement, that is, the building just settled like that. And then because of that, can introduce some stress on the matter. I have designed a house like that. After being immediately something was removed, it didn't settled. And then my friend comes and says, there are cracks on this, and says that okay. So what we do is in such a way that we open the crack, enlarge it to about 1 or 2 inches, then fill it with a normal cement mortar, not strong. You know, some people say, you go and use a very, like it's very be strong. No, it is wrong. Wet that surface very well, fill it up with with cement mortar, normal cement mortar, 1 to 3, call it 1 to 3. That's 1 head pan of cement and 3 head pans of sand. That's what you mean by 1 to 3. Then, and don't plaster it, leave it for about 1 or 2, 1 month or so. If that stress continues, that place will open up again. But if that stress is not continue, it means that it is a sudden stress, that introduces that cracks, and that's the end of the story. The building is still standing. I think we designed around 1986 or 87. Yes, it's number 5 Wilma Street at Ilupeju. It was just done and the correction was done, and since that I pass there anytime. It's the staircase, so I don't have to go inside. I still see it. So that is it. So stress. The first is
crack.
Is cracks, yes. Then if the crack starts a little bit at the bottom and continue to increase up, the most problem is that the foundation has an issue. The most problem is that the foundation has an issue. But if it is the crack is within window or something, then you can just open that. Even if it is that one, you can still open it up and close it back. The other thing we can do is that's what we call telltale. Or if that telltale is a small piece of glass, very thin, you place it across. But because we don't have that, what we do here is to use a POP. You just mix a POP and put it across that crack. POP is very, it is plastic. So when it dries up, it becomes a cake. So if the crack opens, then as the crack is opening, the POP will crack. It will crack, and then it continue, because when it's cracked into 2, this will be following this side, this will be following that side. So that size, the crack will now be telling you, the POP will be telling you the taste that this thing is increasing. It's increasing, because the gap between the 2 ends will continue to widen. So we call it telltale. So once you have that, then definitely you know that there's a problem.
The economic situation of the country has turned most people to be involved in housing provisions, and they are easily called developers. So what is your relationship with these developers, and what efforts are put in place to assist them to ensure that there is reduction in building collapse? Because like it or not, they are contributing one way or another to this menace.
Yes. Well, I don't know of any developer that will tell you that he has a retinue or consultant working for him, and that is wrong. That is wrong. It's very, very wrong. I mean, if you are working in you are building houses, for goodness sake, why can't you have a retinue or consultant? If you make them a permanent something and they are good, the cost of recurring this thing will be less. And another thing people don't realize is that the cost of the fees for the consultant architect consultant structural engineer, consultant M&E, that's 2 of them. The consultant quantity surveyor. At least those 5 are the most important. It is when you have an estate that you can talking of civil engineers, you know. The fee for all the 5 is less than what the contractor will go home with as profit. There's virtually no building that the fee for all the 5 will be up to 10%. And there's no contractor that will do a design that will go home with less than 10 to 15% as profit. So when you look at the cost of of the consultants, the fee is so small compared to the entire building. So what I'm saying is that the developers should form that habit. Let them have retinue or consultant that will work for them. It's in their own interest, and it's also in the interest of the something. At times some people say that it seems as if they just designed that house and build it for, if it is 15 years something, then after 15 years, once they move, you start having problems. That's not supposed to be. If I give you a piece of land to develop and the agreement was that 15 years you could recoup your money, I should be able to benefit from that building forever. After you have recouped your money, it's then I will know that you are a good developer. Then I can trust you. Or they build houses and sell, and then the person who buys, continue to have issues. So my advice is that we don't know of any that actually patronize us. I may be wrong, but my advice is that they should patronize the professionals that are involved, including the architect, the structural engineer, the MIE, for their own benefits.
Is that a way?
For the benefit of the society at large.
It's been a pleasure talking to you, sir. I would like you to say something about the Cable Plus property endeavor, this interview, and the company itself.
Well, I think I think the least I can say that I'm impressed, for an organization like yours to take it upon themselves to enlighten the general public. And then my prayer is that God will give them the ear to listen and the spirit to follow. Because if this is done, it's then that you know that you have fulfilled your mission. So I want to say thank you very much for the opportunity, and honestly, I'm impressed, and I wish you well. Well, I'm not surprised. I think if some of your people are from my school, that's Java College of Technology, and then I continue to tell you that you have only 2 polytechnics in this country, in fact in the world, Java College of Tech and others. So thank you very much.
Thank you for your time, sir. It was great talking to you. And that was a conversation with engineer Dr. Victor Olusegun Oyenuga, the past president of the Nigerian Institution of Structural Engineers. I tell you, I think I can pass on as a structural engineer right now. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button below, share this video with friends and family, and also head on to our social media pages on Facebook and Instagram at Cable Plus Property. My name is Oiza. I'll see you next time.